Hey, today I'm talking about my 5 least liked old movies I first watched in 2024. And this is out of a total of 252 old movies from across the year. Silver Hawk. This is a 2004 Hong Kong film, and the basic premise is Michelle Yeoh basically plays Batman, but like the really cheesy version of Batman. She's worth $2 billion, and she wants to be a vigilante, but she has to keep her identity secret to protect herself, I guess. And like this movie is very aware of what it is. It's very silly, it's very cheesy, it's very over the top. And like that is fun, but there's not a lot else to this film. Now, I think had I found this in the mid-2000s, like 16-year-old Charlie, I think he would have enjoyed this film a good solid amount. I don't know if it would have been a really liked for him, but he definitely would have had a good time with it, for sure. But like, a big part of it is like her getting unmasked, and that happens pretty early on, and then it just is like spinning its wheels doing silly stuff. I didn't find the action all that great. This movie's an hour and 40 minutes long. At 40 minutes, I paused it to do something and was like, oh, how much time is left? I think I'm almost done with the movie. And it was like, oh, I still have an hour left to go? That's not great. I thought I had like 20 minutes left. So yeah, I think it's like a short film. This would be fun if this had been like a nice tight 40 minutes, like a TV special in a sense. Yeah, no, I could have bumped this up a good solid amount, but there's just not a lot of story there, and the action really didn't grab me at all. It's just so silly and ridiculous, and like I can like silly and ridiculous things, but it's just too much for me. It's just too over the top. Yeah, this was recommended to me by my brother. This is his copy that he's had since the mid-2000s. Yeah, I feel bad that it really missed the mark for me. And so yeah, no, I don't recommend it. He would though. I think you just gotta be like in the exact right mind space for this movie, and then it could probably work for you, but if you're not, it's not gonna. Scrawl. This is a 2015/2019 film. This movie's bad. So this is technically Daisy Ridley's first film, and she is by far the best part of it, but it makes no sense whatsoever. So I believe the premise is supposed to be kind of similar to like Death Note, where there's this notebook and anything you write in the notebook happens. But also there's a comic book, and maybe what they made in the comic book actually happens. Also, maybe Daisy Ridley's the devil, and there's this whole thing with like lineage and like this bed and breakfast that everyone's staying at. I don't really know. This movie was like an experimental student film. They did not want to use any sort of traditional storytelling mechanisms to tell a story that didn't make any kind of sense. Like, I don't think they even explained what the premise is until like halfway through the film. And even once they did, it didn't really give any more context to anything. Everything was still just really weird and just kind of happening. Characters would just kind of walk from one scene to the next scene, and then maybe talk at people for a while, or just like random flashes of things would kind of happen. I have no idea what the end sequence was. It was just like a bunch of people running around in the woods. But I'm like, why is anyone running anywhere? What's happening? And who are all these people just killing other people? Why are people killing people? I thought it was supposed to be like the mom was going to be an axe murderer, but she doesn't really do that. Also, there's this thing with the beast that's supposed to be a father figure thing, and it's, what is happening? What is everything? What? If you, by chance, have any sort of grasp of what the hell is happening in this movie, please enlighten me. I would love to just have a general sense of what the hell this movie is. So yeah, no, I did not care for this movie, and I don't recommend it. Like, not even in like a fun party setting of like everyone's getting drunk and let's make fun of this thing. Like, no, not gonna have a good time. It's so bad. Just don't watch it. Please do not. Darling Lili. This is a 1970 film, and the basic premise is, I don't remember. I watched this movie 2 days ago, and I don't remember anything about it besides the fact that I did not like it. Oh yeah! Looking at the Wikipedia. It's a romantic musical spy film. Again, the music has nothing to do with the rest of the film. The songs are just, what are you doing? But yeah, no. Julie Andrews plays this German spy infiltrating British pilots. Yeah, that's it. And people are onto her. And I'm like, I don't care about her because she's the bad guy in this story. But you want me to root for her. And I'm like, no, she's the bad guy. I want her to get caught. I don't care if she's falling in love with this dude. She's killing Allied soldiers. Her. No. What? And just like, yeah, no. It's trash. I paid money to watch this. And I'm so upset that I paid money to watch this. Cause like, it's no. And like there's airplane fight scene things and they go on forever and it's confusing who's attacking who and like we keep like jumping around to seeing close-ups of these different pilots, but I'm like, they all look the same. You're not showing me anything. And just, yeah, no, this movie's dumb and I really did not care for it. I don't recommend it. I don't know if I said that part. Okay. Wing Commander. This is a 1999 sci-fi film loosely based off of the video game franchise of the same name. And the basic premise is, I don't know, sci-fi stuff. I just could not give a shit about this movie at all. It was Firstly, I watched it on DVD, and like I know this isn't the movie's fault, it's some engineer's fault. So it's letterboxed, you know, because it's widescreen, but then they formatted it so that it could fit on a square TV, so it looked like this. And I'm like, well, this is terrible, and you know, it's a DVD, so it's 480p, so it's like just terrible quality anyway. So then I had to like digitally zoom in, and like, oh my god, it did not look good. So I was kind of set up for failure right from the get-go. But it was just so boring and so dull. And honestly, I don't feel bad for not liking this movie because Freddie Prinze Jr. himself is like, I hate this movie, this is like the worst thing I've ever done. So yeah, no. I really did not care for this movie and would not recommend it. It's just kind of a nothing movie. I'm sure if I cared more, I could probably be like, oh, this was terrible, this was terrible. But no, it's just, oh God, I could not be bothered to give a shit about this movie. So yeah, no. Terrible movie, don't recommend. Waking Madison. This movie is something. So I don't know how to describe this movie in which the movie wants you to think what it is, because there's a lot of twists in here, but they're really obvious and you need to know what they are in order to even understand what's happening. So okay, it starts off with this woman who is deciding to lock herself in her apartment for 30 days because she needs to figure out herself, her life, how to live life. And if she doesn't do that within the 30 days, then she's gonna kill herself. So that's the setup. But then what we proceed to see is this mental institution with a bunch of other women with all of these silly personalities. And it's like, it's so incredibly disconnected from the other thing that unless you figure out what the twist is, it makes absolutely no sense. And so I'm just gonna spoil the twist because you need to know it. Even if I don't say it, you would figure it out. But all of the characters in the mental institution are her. They're specifically different personalities of her, which is very incredibly obvious. But also the movie doesn't want you to realize that right away because a big moment within the film is when the main character realizes that, oh, there are multiple minds in my mind. Crazy. Okay, putting all of that stuff aside, what else is in this movie? Well, I mean, it's very disjointed, for sure, and a number of the actors are not good. The main woman was okay at times, but also not great. Elizabeth Shue was fine, definitely fine. Imogen Poots is in this, and she is doing a funny voice. It's an American funny voice, and it kind of works. She's not bad. It's definitely strange, but it was also kind of endearing. I am biased because I've seen essentially all of her movies, so I'm inclined to like her doing kind of anything. But yeah, no, the worst one is like the thug character. And like, I think she's doing what the director wanted her to do, but it was the wrong choice. It's such a bad choice. Oh my God. Stop. Just stop. Ugh. So like, I really didn't give a shit about the one character or what happened to her. And it was just really poorly made and poorly executed and poorly acted. And just all in all, a really bad, terrible experience. I sometimes forget that like, when I watch a really good movie, it gives me a high, like a legit high that I'm like kind of floating a little bit afterwards. If I'm just like, I'm jazzed about life and the experience I just had and I can't wait to tell other people about it. But then I forget about the inverse, that when I watch a really bad bad movie about how it makes me feel bad about myself and just puts me into like a mini depression for a couple of hours. And this was definitely one of those experiences. I thought about shutting it off, but I was like, no, I need to give it the college try for Imogen, because I've watched all of her films and I need to not make an exception with this one. And I mean, I don't regret that, but also, man, was I bummed out for a while after this film. So yeah, no, hated this movie, do not recommend it. I unfortunately now own it because it wasn't streaming anywhere and I couldn't find it on the high seas, but it was available on eBay of all places. So yeah. Honestly, I kind of wouldn't mind tossing this into a fire, but yeah,